welcome to Inspire Network. Today I am meeting an adventurer, photographer, entrepreneur, and writer, Mr. Kristian Mutugalage, who is here sharing his experiences, especially as a writer of 20 language books, the books that can help many people who are traveling to different nations as tourists, or then you are going to businesses, but at least you can learn some necessary phrases. I find this very inspirational. So welcome, Kristian.
Thank you, Conrad, for inviting me here. It's nice to be and chat with you about the language notebooks.
Mm-hmm. So tell us something about how did it start? How come you started to write these books? So what was the idea behind it?
We have to go maybe 3 years back in time. It was 2018, and I was thinking how to make my language learning process much more organized and structured, because I'm studying like almost 20 languages in total. So at that time, the problem was that I had so many different resources, like textbooks, and textbooks might have like from 4 to 10 different editions or courses, like that's a lot. And then there are grammar books, exercise books, different applications, and I felt like my information about my target languages were too scattered, and I was thinking if there was one place where I could gather like the most important 5,000 to 6,000 words. So I didn't find anything. I was thinking about like a blank notebook, but which would have already the words that I just need to find in my target language. But right. I just forgot that for a moment because I was too lazy. I was still in Laurea. I was trying to write my thesis, which took 2.5 years, which is a lot. And yes. About half a year later, I was traveling in Canary Islands, and somehow there, in the last days, I started thinking about my idea of creating this language notebook, and I just started thinking about it the whole time. And on my return flight, I decided that when I get home, I'm gonna try start creating it. I had all the software, so I have Adobe Creative Cloud, so I had all the other software like Photoshop, Lightroom, and InDesign is the software that you use to create books and brochures and that kind of stuff. That's so right. I didn't know how to use it, but I decided that all right, I'm gonna learn how to use it. It wasn't that hard if you know already the other software by Adobe. It's not that hard. And in 5 weeks, I managed to create the first notebook, which is so it's for any language, because on the left pages you have in English the words that are the most important ones in that specific topic, and there are about 70 different topics. So on the left page you have the list of words. On the right page there's an empty page. And after that I created a different kind of a product line. So in the left pages had already the answers, so they were for specific languages. The first one was Chinese. I had the left pages had all the words and phrases from English to Chinese, and then I used the Chinese one as a template for all the next ones.
That's right.
And some people ask, how do you do these books without knowing all. Well, I know most of the languages, but I mean, I'm not a native speaker or translator.
Yeah, that
So
was my next question.
yeah, yeah. So I hired people.
Mhm.
Well, in the beginning, I hired my friend, and she also she then hired another one to double check all.
That's right.
But for the after Chinese, the following versions were translated by professional translators
Mhm.
who were native speakers and translators by profession.
I see.
I, I found them on Fiverr.com.
Mhm. It's an international platform.
Yeah, it's
Mhm.
a platform where you can find any kind of freelancers.
That's right.
So people, I mean, I could also offer my own expertise there, but yeah, that was the platform I used to translate all my products. But yeah, I learned a lot in the beginning, and um, the last 10 books I've hired two people. First
That's right.
one translates, and the
Mhm.
second one proofreads, because uh, it's really hard to find even translators who don't make any mistakes, because
Of course.
I figured out that translators are also humans.
Of course.
Unfortunately,
Yeah.
they make also mistakes. So I have to be really careful with them. I have to go through and try to find the mistakes they might not have noticed,
Mhm.
and then uh, I will give that version to the proofreader, and with him
Right.
or her, I will also be really um, thorough and ask about some words that I know that
Mhm.
other translators have had problems.
Yeah.
For example, the word date is in the section which has words about time. It's
Of course.
also where uh, in the fruits and vegetables section, and
Mhm.
in love life.
That's right.
So the English word date has actually, it has a totally different meaning in different
Different
contexts.
meanings. Definitely.
So there are a couple, well, there are quite many that kind of words in English, and usually I double check these words
That's
with
right.
the translators and proofreaders.
And did you know that this would become a business for you, or was that a hobby when it was starting?
In the beginning, I did it for myself, but I actually tried, well, I had the idea of making this a business, because
That's right.
I realized that if there aren't this kind of products,
Mhm.
this is really going to be a big thing
Right.
if I do it well.
Mhm.
And yeah, I've been building this thing, this brand, language learning material brand, all the time bigger. And yeah, I had actually the idea that I'm going to make a living with this.
Mhm.
So in the beginning, when I created my first product, I had the idea that I can translate the first notebook in
Right.
like in an infinite amount of languages. And now when
Languages.
I have the 19 other notebooks about the other product line, I can create like, well, my goal is to have in a couple of years from
Mhm.
English to a target language about 100
That's right.
notebooks,
Whoa.
and then start like cross translating, or well, when you have languages from English to target language for 100 target languages, then I can actually quite easily do like uh,
Like transfer the languages across each other's.
yeah, like now I have English Swahili,
Mhm.
and I have English Polish, Finnish, Swedish, but then I could have like Swahili Swedish, Swahili Finnish or Russian Finnish or Estonian Finnish, or
Definitely.
yeah, depending on what kind of demands there are. Like in Finland, definitely there's
Mhm.
demand for Russian and Estonian, and yeah, so I could actually create thousands of products after creating the first 100.
That's right. Well, and what made you kind of continue to do this? I'm sure the beginning was not an aha moment already. It was
Mm.
trial and error, but then you continued now that you have 20 books already.
Yeah,
So, what was the thing that made you continue?
yeah. In the beginning, it was really hard because I hadn't finished my studies in Laurea,
Hmm.
and I was still living with my parents' place because after uh, doing my internship in China, 2017, I moved to my parents' place, and I was a bit stuck there because I was not making enough money to move on my own because uh, I had my own businesses and they didn't generate enough money. So I'm talking about my first business. But so when
Yes.
I created this notebook, uh, it was early 2019, and I didn't have much sales because I didn't have much energy to market and sell it enough. I had a few Facebook campaigns, and I had like the income was really small. It was
That's right.
about like 20 to 50 euros per month. But uh, so after 1 year
Hmm.
of the creation of the first product, I created the second one,
I see.
and I I left almost immediately to Sri Lanka
Hmm.
after publishing the Chinese notebook.
That's
I
right.
went there to walk across Sri Lanka. So,
Hmm.
and I had a couple of Facebook campaigns, but
Right.
my yeah, I still wasn't doing this 100%.
That's
But
right.
in the end of my walk in Sri Lanka, the corona hit Sri Lanka, and I just made in time to my goal
Yes.
in
Yes.
the southernmost point of Sri Lanka. And that actually, 1 week before reaching my goal, I started thinking what to do
Yes.
because I saw that the situation in the whole world is getting worse. So that's when I decided that I will return to Finland and create the 2020 25 notebooks. That was my goal. Well,
Hmm.
I reached 20, so that
That's right.
was enough. Yeah. And yeah, I returned to Finland and started working every day. And yeah, in the end of the year, I had 20, and my sales numbers grew a lot,
Hmm.
and I saw that they generated enough income that I could move away from my parents' place and start living as a digital nomad. And now
Fantastic.
I'm creating new versions, and um, also having some Facebook campaigns and
Hmm.
creating marketing material about my notebooks to grow this brand. And actually, I'm also I use my own notebooks every day because initially I created them for myself. So
Sure.
I use them myself, and now I also uh, find some small mistakes or corrections, or I realize what kind of words I need to add. So the new versions will be really much better, and
Hmm.
I'm also focusing now to create the reverse notebooks about the first
That's right.
20. That means if I have English to Finnish, Swedish, so I will now just reverse the content and have, instead of English to Finnish, Finnish to English. So I will
That's right.
need change the cover because now it's ultimate Finnish notebook. It will be uh, Suomi-Englanti-kirja.
For
And
example.
so
Hmm.
there's not much work. I just need to switch the content, the
Hmm.
order how they are, and the cover. So I
Matching
will,
the, yeah, sure.
yeah,
Because the
yeah,
system is the same for all of your books.
yeah,
And that's the bright way to do the kind of scaling the production of your books anyway.
yeah. It's really scalable
Hmm.
the product, and I wanted to create something which is scalable.
Hmm.
And this kind of product didn't exist. Like one notebook where you can gather up to 6,000 words. Like 6,000 comes from, like I counted that now the left pages have uh, almost 3,100 words, and all the right pages are empty. And in the end of the books, there are some spreads that are completely empty. So, I mean, theoretically, you can add half more. So
That's right.
that's why where the 5 to 6,000 words estimate comes from.
That's right.
And like typically textbooks and other language learning books, you have to cooperate with a lot of experts, and
Mm,
it's so hard work. But this is
definitely.
just having the summary, the overview about the grammar and the summary of the most important vocabulary, and you use this to together with other resources. So when you learn stuff that's relevant for you, you will write it
Mhm.
on the empty page. And after filling the whole notebook, you will have 5 to 6,000 words and phrases that are relevant specifically for you.
Yeah, definitely.
So, yeah.
That's fantastic. And I know that you are in Amazon. Where else can people find you, for example?
Oh yeah. I actually have to mention about the platform I'm using.
That's right.
So uh, when I started doing this notebook, I had no idea. Like during the 5 week period when I was rigorously uh, doing 10 hours a day of work with this notebook, I had still after 2 or 3 weeks, I had no idea where to publish, and I thought I would need a publisher.
That's right.
But I was Googling after maybe 2 or 3 weeks after starting the work
Mhm.
when I arrived from Canary Islands, and I found, like, I was Googling self-publishing companies, and
Mhm.
I found this German one, Books on Demand,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
I was a bit Googling their information, and on their website it says that, like, they had all the information that you just need to download the PDF.
Mhm.
You have to submit all the information through their like forms. Uh,
Yes.
they have like a lot of forms that you have to fill, where you have to write the description
Mhm.
text that they will put on Books on Demand's online shop. And actually through Books on Demand, it goes automatically to Amazon, to Suomalainen Kirjakauppa, to Prisma, to
Mhm.
Wal. I actually heard it's also on Walmart's
Oh, I
uh,
see.
online
Fantastic.
on, online shops. And
Mhm.
so through Books on Demand, it goes to so many places. I have even no idea where it's
At the moment.
available for purchase. Yeah,
So
but
it's splashing around.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and Books on Demand makes it really easy for me because um, I don't need to do anything with the ordering
Mhm.
and sending the notebooks. I don't need to have a warehouse. I don't need to have people who send them or send myself, because my sister had a company through which she was sending some like clothes she made, manufactured, but she told that it's really horrible to be like doing that,
Mm.
uh, dealing with the orders and sending the packages. So
Definitely. The
definitely,
inventories.
yeah. So when someone buys my notebooks through any of the online shops where it's available, they print it and then they send it.
I see.
So
So directly from the
yeah,
book on demand. Yeah,
yeah, and
fantastic.
they don't have any inventory
Mhm.
in advance like
Yeah,
traditional publishers. I think they uh, print maybe 1,000 books and then they are somewhere in the warehouse. But books on demand, they well, how I have understood it is that they print it when someone buys and then they just send it.
so
So
just in time. Yes,
yeah, so
fantastic.
I just wait for my paycheck after like every quarter. They pay four times a year after every quarter.
Fantastic. And in social media, you're found in Instagram, I believe, and
Yeah, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Ultimate Language Notebook is the name, and the homepage is also www.ultimatelanguagenotebook.com.
fantastic. That's a great example of a person who never stops.
Yeah,
From a
thank you.
trip to Canary Islands down to 20 books today,
Yeah,
expecting to write 100 and reproduce to thousands of books.
yeah.
So I really wish you all the best in this production, and we will definitely look forward to catch up with you in the future, because I believe there are so many people
Mm,
who can do what you're doing in very many different ways, or who can complement what you're doing. And with your story, I'm sure you have
mm,
also inspired so many people. I know also you were an adventurer. You walked across
mhm,
Finland, Sri Lanka, and we
mhm.
hope that in April we can catch up with you and you can share your experience of walking and adventurous activities, and how do they support your creativity.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Let's see.
we thank you very much for now, and we will definitely be in contact.
Thank you, Conrad.
Yeah. Thanks a
See
lot,
see
Kristian.
you in the future again.
Definitely. We will never stop following.